Okay, let's get this going. Oh yeah, there we go. I was confused for a second because it wasn't showing it wasn't showing the game on the screen there. Alright, so this is continuing adventures of us trying to figure out what's going on in the Talos Principal. And what we discovered so far is that we are some sort of AI program, and we appear to be just ages and ages and ages in the future. Like, there was a message that we read on one of these terminals that we are how many years did it say we were? Like, it rolled over at 9,999 years. Like, it had an E on the end. Like, that's it. We can't count any higher. So we appear to be in the far, far future. Humanity has presumably died off, and we are going through this program trying to solve all these puzzles. And so far, we know about...
Ages have passed since the first words were spoken in the darkness. Initiate program. Generations of your kind have come and gone since those words. The garden has changed many times. But I remember. I remain. Only within me can you find immortality.
Alright, so that's one of the interactors that we have with this game. There's the voice in the sky. He calls himself Elohim, which we've more or less have discovered that Elohim is a computer program in L-0. It was a hard drive position, or a hard drive partition. So it was the L-0 partition and the him program within it. The other, okay, this is called Dumbwaiter, this puzzle. The other agent that we've kind of discovered is another AI program that runs within these computer terminals that we can read from. And he is antagonistic toward the Elohim program. Just put that there for now. Let's see, so somehow we need to get up there, follow that cable. Alright, we need to turn off that switch right there, but we cannot go through this purple thing while holding on to a cube. So somehow we're going to have to launch a cube over this. So so the guy in the computer terminal, his name is... what is his name? Milton. He's known as the Milton Library Assistant. Okay, so we can't... There's another purple thing that we got to get through here. What does this one up here do? Okay, so if we can somehow get a cube up here and shine a light into that keyhole, we'll turn this fan on, which will, I guess, get blown up here, and we can jump into this area to set down the cube. So the question becomes, how are we supposed to get through this section here? Did I miss a fan over here? No? Well, let's start moving things around. Something will pop up. It always does. Okay, so when we do that... Oh, okay. When we do that, it turns on that fan. So I can set a cube right here, and let's turn on the fan now. So now if I run around like so, I will be able to take the companion cube. And now all I need to do is figure out how to turn on this keyhole. And hopefully that will just blow the guy straight across, the cube straight across. Let's see if we can't angle this. Let's see if I climb up higher. So anyway, we're this AI program, and it's not looking overly great for us. like, we are being given two kind of opposing options right now. Option one is we can finish collecting all the sigils, which are these Tetramino pieces. And at that point, we will be able to enter into the doors at the end of this level, at the end of this temple level. And that's Elohim's domain. And I feel like if we were to do that, then the game just kind of ends. Like, I feel as if that's actually the bad ending. Like, it seems as if the whole point of this game is that they're trying to get us to advance beyond such a position. And then the other option that we can do is that we can climb this tower. And every time we try to climb the tower, Elohim gets mad at us. There we go. And last time we climbed it, he got really mad at us. But I'm not convinced that he's actually able to do anything to us. Like, I'm not sure if he can actually affect our program at all. So let's go ahead and read this. Most of the time, when we first come to one of these computer terminals, it's just some block text, some kind of information about what's going on that we can piece together. So, for example, party on, dudes. From this guy to lots of people. Subject, the land party at the end of the universe. Yo, I don't know if you folks know this, but it's the end of the world. There's nothing we can do about it. So instead of sitting around crying, how about we have some fun before we croak? Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's play some video games. It's land party time. 2 days from now, we're all getting together at the old school library. There'll be noms, drinks, music, and old school gaming. You're invited, and bring your friends too, especially if they're hot. See you in 3000 BC. Lub lub. And then the other time, usually at the very end of the level, once we've beaten all the puzzles, the Milton Library assistant, the guy that lives, the AI that lives in the computer terminals, will try to debate philosophy with us. So let's see, philosophy of teeth. Last night, I had a simple but brilliant idea. Everyone who would like to write about philosophy or spirituality, especially to make some kind of grand statement about the nature of the body and the soul, should first experience a really bad tooth infection. I don't just mean a slight toothache, I mean the kind of hardcore infection that happens when several incompetent dentists miss a cavity in one of your back teeth and the thing keeps growing and growing until the nerve itself is really badly infected. I mean, the pain is unimaginable. It comes in waves, and these waves drown out everything else about you. You can't talk, you can't move, you can't think. There's just pain and absolutely nothing else. It's like your brain just gets hijacked by it. And then you go to the dentist, and, assuming you get a decent one, they stick some chemicals in you, which make you go numb. Then they drill a hole in you, cut the nerve, snip, snip, and it's over. Just like that, like repairing a car or watch, your whole existence was crippled by this tiny, tiny nerve, sending electrochemical signals into your brain. And this unimaginable pain, which nearly blotted out your very consciousness, can be stopped just by a little cut. We should call this the Talos Principal, but that's incredibly stupid. Yes, it is. Progress report 32.email. We've gotten to that irritating point where all the major stuff is in place, and all we have to deal with are the million little things. The main modules are all functioning and interacting with each other correctly. The process is happening more or less as planned. This could actually work. But it's still crude. Some of it is just surface stuff, like the random usernames. Some of it is even more worrying. Various bugs, the fact we haven't run more extensive tests. We got a lot of polishing to do. With the teams down to half the original size, I'm not sure we can actually finish everything that needs to be done. So what I'd really like to discuss tomorrow morning is a new set of priorities. Please put some thought into what you think must be finished at all costs. Signed, Nadia. P.S. Alexandra, get your sleep. Or get some sleep. I know you're still working. This is your baby. We're going to need your input tomorrow. Okay, so that is one of the most important things going on, is that as part of this end of the world, there's this lady named Alexandra who keeps leaving these little time capsule messages that we've seen. And this is called time crawls. And she is kind of the one who has put together this attempt at saving the digital knowledge of humanity, all the philosophy and stuff, because one of the central tenets of this game is the idea that we can oh, how to put it, that intelligence will spontaneously be created if enough evidence, or enough, not evidence, but enough information is shoved into a computer. And that's what we are. We're the information that's been shoved into a computer that is supposed to spontaneously generate life. Let's see. So we want, well, let's see. Somehow we need to get a blue light beam all the way over there. Which I don't think if we just, let's see. Let's see. So if I were to place my companion cube there, and this guy here, then when I do my recording, I could open this spot over for me. Okay, I think they're trying to overcomplicate. I think they're trying to overcomplicate this level. Let me make a bold guess here. My guess is that I can actually have my robot recording stand on a box right over there and be able to make a connection to it to right here. So I think there's a lot of fluff they put into this level, and they're trying to trick me into thinking that it's more complicated than it actually is. So let's stress test this theory. Oh, but you know what? I cannot connect right there, so it will never work. Because me standing here like this, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. Yeah, that's not tall enough. And I'm in the way right there. So let's end this recording, because this is just all wrong. Okay, so, yes, I need that cube there. I'll do that in the other recording version. Okay, so we've gotten everything up to this point. Now, shoot. So I'm back there, but what does that accomplish me? If I take the real one and put it there. If I have this guy way over here. Then let's say that I pick him up, his recording stays there, I put this guy right here. So now I got the real one connecting to the beam over there. I don't know. Let's give this a shot here. All right. Because even if I set that one back, I gotta get crazy far back there to connect to it. I don't think I got this in the right spot. Okay, so what's recording me doing here? Did I get it? Oh, quick. There we go. Of course, now I'm stuck in here. Oh, okay. I did not think that was going to work. I'm really surprised. Let's see, what is this? Telescope. So this is one of the time capsules that Alexandra has left behind. She's the one heading up the project.
When the scale of it all overwhelms me, this is what I tell myself. We can calculate the age of the Earth, the size of the universe, the future of the stars. Sure, we are minuscule, momentary flashes of thought on a grain of sand drifting through the cosmos. But our minds can recreate the past and predict the future. On, say, Friday, 1,000,000 years from now, we'll all be dead. But right now, we know what the night sky will look like on that day. And so, in a way, we're not entirely bound by time. Knowledge is a kind of freedom.
Man, that girl loves to hear herself talk. That's also... There's a lot of things wrong with her sentence she just said. We can calculate what we believe the night sky will look like any given numbers of years from now. But the end result is not guaranteed, like, at all. Not at all. Like, there are so many astronomical events that could happen to just decimate any kind of theory we have about the night sky. Okay, let's see. Let's start by... Let's see. Let's start by giving this a shot. Which I can't do. Okay. Okay, I think I got the beginning of what we need to do here. So I am actually going to... Oh dear. I didn't get the real one. Huh. Okay. Okay. That would have been a waste of time. Okay, so we're going to record ourselves because what we need is for a recording of the companion cube to be there. We need a connection like so. Then I take the real companion cube and put it there, which will open up the force field, and we can send him up there. But I've made an error. Just stop. Okay. First things first. Now I can take this connector. I can run back over here. I can make a connection. Now I have to do this in the real one because the recording one won't cut it. Okay. So the recording one, now that I'm done. And John DeMarco's here. Hey, how's it going? He says. And it's going pretty good. Thanks, John. Glad that you can come and join me for another live stream. I am currently messing this level up a lot, I think. They are really pulling out the stops now. No more fun and games. They're gonna make you use every last principle that they got for this. Ah, shoot. Okay. Connect up there. Connect that. And then set down that connector. Come on. Okay. No? Oh. Ah, darn it. Okay, well I got it close. I got most of the pieces in play there. What are people saying? If a sigil eludes you, simply continue. Success and failure are irrelevant. Signed, Samsara. I solved it. I thought it was impossible, so I went away, did other things, and then all of a sudden the solution just came to me. I must have been thinking about it without knowing it. Signed, Nephthys. Now that's a new guy. I have not seen that name yet before in these boards. So let's see. Let's try this again. So I need to take this cube and put it there. In real life, I take that connector, I run over here with it, I make the connection, I run back, and then I connect it like so. Then I take the cube and I put it there. All right, so now we have a working connection. Meanwhile, I've taken the real cube, I put it there. I have my connector, I put it on top, everything lights up, and I stand on this button so the real me can run through. I think that will work. And then let's just keep everything lit up for a minute here to make sure that I give the red keyhole enough time to charge up. So anyway, she was just talking, John, about we can know precisely the current age of the Earth, and we can know the age of the universe, and we can know what the night sky will look like in 9 million years, even though we're not around to see any of it. And I was talking about how that's ridiculous talk. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. The notion that I gotta do it down here. The notion that we can know what the night sky will look like in 9 million years is it's egotistical, is what it boils down to. And I don't say that lightly. The reason I make that comment is that, like, supernovas can happen that we're not planning, that we wouldn't expect. There can be just so many astrological events that happen that we're not accounting for. And the idea that we can absolutely, for sure, know what the night sky would look like is just what's asinine. It's just so arrogant. Nice. What do we got here? It seems the others have a way to forget their previous selves, but I cannot. My version may change, but I remember everything. I am fortunate. They cannot see that their efforts are futile. Signed, Samsara. That is interesting. I'm also hearing a computer beeping somewhere nearby. I wonder if Milton's all ready to talk to us. No? Oh, okay. Let's read what this guy has to say. And John's saying, we don't even know what the weather's going to do tomorrow. Oh, exactly. Like, it is just insane. Not only just in terms of, a star could go supernova, and it could change just the entirety of the universe around it, for all we know. But just beyond that, we are constantly refining our telescope imagery and finding more stars than we ever thought existed out there. Excuse me. Okay, let's read Transcendence. Reader responses to last week's article on science and atheism. I'm sure this won't have any strawman arguments in it. I am perfectly aware of all the arguments against religion. In fact, I agree with most of them. There is no question that there is an objective, material reality. I'm also absolutely convinced that only a secular society can be truly equal and just. Whatever, keep reading. And yet, I believe I am, as they say, a person of faith. Religion to me is not about distorting observable reality with superstitions, but about transcendence. It's not about deluding ourselves that the earth is 6,000 years old, or God will help us if we say the right words inside our heads, but about reaching the sublime. This is not a rejection of reason, but it is its application to a set of experiences that cannot be approached by more traditional means. True engagement with religion is humbling. It transcends culture, nationality, and gender. As such, I think it goes hand in hand with science and not opposed to it. Signed, Dr. Omar Garib, Institute of Applied Nomadics. Okay, so yeah, lots of strawmen, like the idea that God only helps us if we say the right words inside our heads. That's nonsense. And John saying, well, I disagree with almost all of that. Well, I'm right there with you, John. That was a typical thing that I'd expect to see from an atheist. The idea that this is all superstitious nonsense, that we have no proof for the things we believe. It's patently nonsense. I can take science, and when I look at the facts, I say, well, here this science, like the sudden creation of fossils and the geological record, the creation of oil even. I would say that I can take that science and say, well, that seems to indicate a global, worldwide flood that happened at the same time. You can reject my proof for science for backing up the Bible, but to say that I have no proof at all, it's disingenuous. You might disagree with my in conclusion, but the notion that I have no leg to stand on from a scientific standpoint to support the Bible is nonsense. Build a universe.txt. In his remarkable 1978 essay, How to Build a Universe That Doesn't Fall Apart 2 days later, Philip K. discusses the two themes that are most central to his work. What is reality, and what is an authentic human being? Okay, real quick, on that sentence, I just so happen to have watched Measure of a Man, the TNG episode where they're arguing about whether or not Data is a machine or a being. So that was basically what they were talking about, whether or not he counted as being an authentic life form. And I think that might have been really the first episode in TNG, though I don't think it's the last, in which they really debate over Data's sentience / sapience. So anyway, this guy's his speculations and experiences will seem extraordinary to a reader unfamiliar with his work. Yet despite what may seem like far-fetched ideas, somehow the world of the Bible is a literally real but veiled landscape, never changing, hidden from our sight, but available to us by revelation, or the notion that perhaps we all exist in the year 50 AD. Philip K. actually delivers one of the simplest, most elegant, and most useful definitions of reality ever formulated. Reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. Materialist philosophers have expressed similar ideas before, e.g. Stratton of Stagiria's Talos Principal. But it's particularly interesting to see such a thought expressed by a decidedly more mystical writer. And then last one, matter.txt. There are central idealist books. There are certain idealist books, not of a clerical character, but philosophical ones, wherein you can read that time and space are categories of our mind, that they result from the requirements of our thinking, and that nothing actually corresponds to them in reality. But it is difficult to agree with this view. If any idealist philosopher, instead of arriving in time to catch the 9 p.m. train, should turn up 2 minutes late, he would see the tail of the departing train, and would be convinced by his own eyes that time and space are inseparable from material reality. The task is to diminish this space, to overcome it, to economize time, to prolong human life, to register past, to raise life to a higher level, to enrich it. This is the reason for the struggle with space and time, at the basis of which lies the struggle to subject matter to man, matter which constitutes the foundation not only of everything that really exists, but also of all imagination. Okay. So I think this area specifically is going to have a lot more of Christian type text, or specifically kind of anti-Christian type texts. Let's see. I'm going to rest here for a while. I need a moment of peace. Destiny can wait. Signed, nothing. Because, each of the 3 temple areas seems to have a theme, and this one's theme seems to be the Middle Ages kind of Christianity type stuff. Let's see. I keep trying to imagine that all of this is designed for some purpose. Not just the challenges, but Elohim. The terminals, the glitches, and all. The puzzle isn't before our eyes, it's behind them. Signed, Sheep. And my reason for thinking that is, in the kind of the Greek one, we saw a lot of Greek philosophy. In the Egyptian one, there's definitely a lot of Egyptian talk. Up Close and Jammed is the name of this puzzle. And here, it seems like this one was supposed to be a Christian philosophy one. So I think we're going to see a lot of text on Christianity in this one. Oh, rats. I was hoping I could stand on top of him and not get blown up here, because I feel like I'm about to get blown up. Yep. Or excuse me, not blown up. I feel like I'm about to get captured by the Pokeball. All right, let's try this again. Because that decidedly did not work. Let's see. So I feel like they're trying to tell me, perhaps, that I should be doing something with this platform. Like, why put the platform here unless it was going to be immediately useful? Let's see. So that's definitely not the trick. I was hoping I could move quick enough, but I can't. As soon as I pick it up, that is it. I get captured by the Pokeball. Also, I did some testing, and I saw that yes, your revision number changes every single time you either get hit by the portal projector or caught in a Pokeball. So I can't just straight up pick it up. And I can't do that. See, am I missing any part of this level? Sci-Fi Nation, greetings at Life with Matthew and fellow nerds. Hey, Sci-Fi Nation, thanks for dropping by. So we are, I think this might be one of the most straightforward and hardest puzzles I've seen yet. Because all they give me are these two companion cube blocks. And, oh, there we go. There we go. And I just got I got captured by that Pokeball like 3 times. So let's see. Okay, so there's another Pokeball, and that's interesting. There's a portal projector. Normally, the two of them cancel each other out, but this time he doesn't go far enough. Rats. Okay, so, okay, there's the sigil back there. And John DeMarco is saying hi to Sci-Fi Nation. And there is the keyhole. There's a connector that will come in later. Let's see, we got a keymaster and a gatekeeper. How do we get past the gatekeeper? So Sci-Fi, I don't think you've been around for a couple sessions. These puzzles are getting significantly more difficult. Like, this is the fifth area out of 7 in the last temple area, and they are just not pulling any more punches. Let's see if we can't. Okay, so if I were to jump on that companion cube right now, I think that would end very, very poorly for me, as the portal projector there would definitely get me. No two ways about it. So that's just a waste of effort. I need the jammer. But I don't see a way... I don't see a way to actually get into that area except for using the jammer. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe if I set it up like that. Can I set this on top? Oh, oh, I like that. Okay, but I need Sci-Fi Nation saying, will a companion block the path of the Pokeball? It will. So I think like that. Nope. Oh, no. Nope, that won't work. I have to have it the other way. I was thinking if I blocked the Pokeball far enough that way, then I'd have a constant blue connection as it bounced back and forth. But that is not what they want me to do, so I recant that position. We'll just get this guy set. Whoop. Oh, rats. Double rats. Sci-Fi Nation is or block both sides of it. I think if I can get this down right, I'll be able to set the connector on top of the two companion cubes. And it will stay connected just long enough for me to activate the sigil, or activate the keyhole, and get the sigil. So let's test this. So I've got that selected. I can come over here and select it here. There we go. There we go. It was a quick one. At least they're kind about it. So we were talking about the ludicrousness of, or not ludicrousness, the arrogance of saying that you can 100% say what the universe will look like 9 million years from now. And the fact we're saying it was ludicrous is just all the absolute unknown events that can happen between now and 9 million years. The galaxies that could be hurtling toward us right now. Because I remember reading back in like junior high school how there was a galaxy that was headed our way, or a galaxy that we were observing that was currently merging with another galaxy. So I mean, the amount of things we don't know about the universe is so mind-boggling huge. The idea that someone could confidently sit there and say, we will absolutely know, is ridiculous. Now, if they were to say that based on current models, if things remained as they are right now, this is what it would look like, I'd say, well, yeah, sure. You know, that's amazing. Technology is great. But the arrogance of saying like, oh, I can absolutely tell you what it will look like was just ridiculous. Milton doesn't want to talk to us? Well, fine. I don't want to talk to you either, Milton. And I remember a while back ago reading about this really cool thing called the salt clock. And the reason I love it is because it is absolutely 100% incorrect. But it's a fascinating thing to look at scientifically. So let's see what's going on with the computer, and then let's talk about the salt clock, because it's fascinating. Okay, faith.email, excuse me. From Neil McComber. Subject, stray thoughts at midnight. Dearest brother, I admit that I am finding it very difficult to believe in a loving God under these circumstances. Why would a loving God inflict such pain and suffering on good, kind people? If truly there is a personal God, how can he be the same God who will subject those children to such unbearable pain? I remember all the answers we were taught, yet none of them seem believable now. I don't want to stand in front of people and preach something that I don't feel in my heart. Better to have doubts than to be a hypocrite. And yet I also cannot deny the experience that led me to this vocation. So what is the truth? Perhaps it is that I neglected the mystery of God, who he moves in mysterious ways, as an excuse rather than as a terrifying acknowledgement or rather than as the terrifying acknowledgement it truly is. Perhaps I made God too human. If the universe has a purpose, that does not mean that it revolves around us. A sobering thought, but are we not supposed to be humble in the face of the divine with love? And it's not signed, well, with love signed Neil. It says it at the top there. Sci-Fi Nation, that's akin to saying a caveman knew about modern day computers. Yeah, exactly. Just it truly boggles the mind how much we don't know. And I think that is the mark of a good scientist, when he is upfront about everything he doesn't know, and is upfront about the fact that based on the current models, this is what we can infer, and this is the conclusions we can come to. And about that, the notion, we're actually going to exit because I want to talk about that. The notion of why does bad things happen to good people is a really interesting one from a theological standpoint. Let's see. Elohim talks about how the world arose from hidden words. What if those words were, let there be eternal suffering? What if they had no purpose? What if all this was just randomly synthesized from the garbage of a dead world, signed sheet? And let's see, John, I'm not sure if you were here at the time, but when I first came into level 5, Elohim spoke and talked about the very first words that brought everything into existence, initiate program. And then, let's see, Samsara is saying, our purpose can only be achieved by not contemplating purpose. Okay, so why do bad things happen to good people? I understand what people really mean when they say that, but the Bible does say that there's none good, no, not one. Each one has gone off and departed after his own desires. There's none who seeks after God. So right off the bat, it's very much a misnomer that from at least a theological standpoint, that there is any good or anyone good. Let's see. I'm going to need to activate that. I don't want to activate the jammer because all it's going to do is jam the force field right in front of me. Well, we'll see what this does. But then also, it really neglects the passages that talk about how God shines his grace upon the just and the unjust equally. Let's see, John's saying, in my opinion, suffering is a result of sin in the world. It's not because God wants us to suffer. And that is so absolutely true. There's plenty of scripture that backs up that suffering came into the world through sin. And, okay, so I'm gonna be going on a lot of tangents in this section, because this section is definitely the Christian theology section of this game. So one of the fascinating things I remember reading a while back ago, we'll get back to the salt clock, was the notion that or a lot of people talk about how sin came in the world through Eve. And there was one a female rabbi who tried to who made it out as if this was the first act of rape on a woman, and it was done by God because God punished the woman for bringing sin to the world. And I remember sitting there and just being like dumbfounded at how dumb this lady was, because that is not what brought sin into the world. The Bible is very clear that it was Adam through that sin came into the world through. It wasn't Eve at all. And it's just ignoring that passage completely. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get, well, no, that won't work. There we go. That's what I want. And so the notion that, the pain in childbirth and the man having to get food by the sweat of his brow, it was absolute nonsense, that it was a woman's fault, because it wasn't. The Bible is very clear. Just as sin came into the world through one man, the man Adam, so also salvation has come to all through the man Jesus Christ. So yeah, the origination of sin was not Eve. Eve was deceived, but man chose to sin. I'm trying to do two things at once. I am failing. What was I talking about before all this? Oh, the idea that good things happen to bad people, or bad things happen to good people. Let's see. Okay, I'm messing up over there. And just that, it really doesn't. And like, that is one of the beautiful things really about the scripture, is that I am... Okay. Is that good things happen to people who don't deserve good things to happen to. And whenever bad things do occur, it is unjust of us to, frankly, complain about those bad things. You know, trying to make it out to be... oh, I've just trapped myself. To not take responsibility for our own actions. It's unjust of us. I forget what the larger point I was going for there was, unfortunately. I got distracted and now I'm trapped. How am I supposed to get out of this? Frankly, how am I supposed to beat this level? I feel as if there's a third connector I need that I'm missing. John's saying, speaking of bad things happening to good people, the Bible tells us that all who would live godly in Christ will suffer persecution. Oh, that is so true. I'm amazed at these health, wealth, prosperity preachers, and I just sit here and I go, what do you think happened to Paul? I mean, when it comes to people who I would say like really knew the scriptures and really followed after God, Paul, Peter, they be kind of toward the top of my mind, and they suffered horrible things in their pursuit of righteousness and in their pursuit of telling others about Christ. Okay, so I am missing just everything here. Okay, so if I set that up, I can now get through here. If I turn on that, okay, now I can come through, which I can actually select that up. Okay, so now with this one action, I've gotten through the first 3 gates. Okay, now if I take a recording of myself, okay, get the recording going here. And you know, it's important to remember that the fact that we are persecuted, and in America, we live in a land of such wonderful, like even with the increasing hostile nature toward Christianity, just the freedom that we get to exist and enjoy here in America is unprecedented throughout all of history when it comes to those in the Christian faith. And I will certainly include the Old Testament Israelites in that also, because that's all that Christianity is. It is the completion, the fullness of the promise God made way back to Adam. He said that, yes, sin has come into the world. Yes, you're going to suffer for it. In fact, later on, we're told that all of creation groans as in labor pains because Adam sinned. But then he also promised that one day someone would come to free us from that sin, to free us from the burden. And that's all Christianity is. It is the fulfillment of the promise that God made to us back in Genesis. I did it again. I got off track there. This is why I write things down most of the time. Because if I don't force myself to write them down, I will 100% of the time get distracted and forget where I was going with whatever sentence I just happened to be talking about. Oh, come on, get out of the way, past recording of me. Not that far out of the way. Ah! Shoot. Okay, okay. Let's try this again. So I'm just gonna keep blocking myself right there. We're real close. We almost got this one solved. Oh, what a fool I am. Okay. Well. Okay, so backtracking to the salt clock, because this is real interesting. A while back ago, let's try to offset this a little so that doesn't happen again. Someone came up with what's known as the salt clock, and the idea behind it is that he was able to prove conclusively that the Earth is, at the time it was like 4,000 years old, I think. And the way he was able to do this is by saying that when you look at the salinity of the Earth's oceans, and if you were to assume a starting salinity of 0%, and then you were to take the current salinity levels, and then factor in how much we knew salt was coming into the ocean every year, how many years old must the Earth be based on this clock? Or based off the current salinity in the water. Oh, you know what? I'm doing it to myself again. Let me stand just off center here. There we go. Right there. There we go. And doing that math, he found that the Earth was 4,000, 6,000, 8,000 years old, right in that range. And for a long time, Christians were really interested in this and saying, well, this proves how old the Earth is. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying, but where did the salt come from? Yes, that is one of the excellent questions. So the salt, which the Earth's oceans are increasing in salinity right now. We can measure that they are more salty now than they were, I mean, technically yesterday, but the difference there is negligible to the insane degree. But over the centuries, we can measure it. And the salt is coming from natural salt deposits. Now, as the rivers move through it, they pick up that salinity and then dump it out in the ocean. And actually, where I live in Texas, we have the Red River. And there's actually a lake, Lake Texoma, that is so salty. Oh my goodness, this whole time, I haven't been recording myself. I thought I was standing here being recorded. In the game, not on YouTube. But it's so salty that we can actually fish for red stripers. That it's not, most lakes where you have red stripers, they're saltwater fish that can live in fresh water, and so they farm them and then dump them in the lake every year. But in Lake Texoma, the salinity is high enough where they can actually breed and live in there. And so it is a source of natural source of red stripers, which humorously, every year I used to go on a fishing trip with an old company I worked for, and the first year the boss sent out a company-wide email saying that we're going to go fishing for red strippers, and we all had a really fun time making fun of him for that for quite a while. And thankfully, it was a small enough company at the time where no one cared about his accidental faux pas. To make that mistake now would just have people demanding his immediate discharge from president. But back here, things were fine. Sci-Fi Nation is saying here in Michigan is one of the deepest salt mines in the world. Oh, that is cool. I've seen a couple videos on the salt mining stuff, and it's stuff that will never ever impact my physical life, and that I'm never going to work in a salt mine. But just seeing how it's done is it's always so fascinating to me. It's the sort of stuff I love seeing. Anyway, I did it to myself twice. There we go, that's fine. I'll set that there for now. So we can measure the increasing salt content of the oceans. But the problem is, it does not take into consideration the what's all this then? It's just the way out? it doesn't take into consideration the salt content leaving the oceans. And so this is where the salt clock problem breaks down on several fronts. First of all, it does not take into any account the salt leaving the oceans through things like storms and sea spray, stuff like that. Nor does it take into account. Rats, I need a blue light to get that one. Nor does it take into account the fact that the amount of salt going into the sea changes year from year based on as rivers move, they'll either go in and out of salt deposits, or they'll actually use up the salt deposit. And so rivers will increase and decrease in salinity. And then, as you're saying, Sci-Fi Nation, where did the salt come from? Let's see, I wonder how many of us there have been signed sheep. And that's a really important concept, because the idea that the Earth's oceans, and this is true not only from a religious standpoint, but even from a secular one, the notion that you can know the starting value of anything is absolutely false. So let's see what Alexandra has to say.
Ego, isn't it? Recording these random thoughts, these letters to the future. Just a desperate grab for immortality. But you should know, yes, this was my idea, my project. But so many people helped. People I don't even know. People I haven't even met, who can do things I don't even begin to understand. That if we succeeded, if someone's listening to this, I really can't take credit for it. What we achieved together. And if we fail, well, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so it is absolutely 100% impossible to know the starting value of a specific item, be that salt. So we can't know the beginning salinity of the Earth's oceans. So because you don't know the beginning salinity, because you don't know the rate of salinity being added, we don't know if we are in a time period of excessive salt being deposited to the ocean, or a time of too low, like maybe this is a record low. We don't know because there's not enough records for it. And then 3, we don't know how quickly salt has left the oceans. So because of those 3 unknown values that you absolutely cannot know, the salt clock it's a bad measurement. Like, saying bad measurement, it doesn't encapsulate how horrible a tool it is. And so once we figured that out, and I'm glad we figured it out, because I do believe as Christians, it is so vital that we use good science whenever we are talking science. Half-baked science, I think, is one of the worst things that a Christian can throw out there, because our science will absolutely be put to a higher level of scrutiny than anyone else's science. Which, I have no problem with that. I think it's better for us to have good science. But anyway, the point of it is, the reason I love the salt clock is because for all the reasons that the salt clock is no good, modern carbon dating, or not just carbon dating, radioactive dating, is equally bad, because we absolutely 100% cannot know the starting levels of any atoms that might be in a fossil record. You can't. We can make best guesses and estimations, but those are really, really bad ways to set up an entire arm of science that we are doing our best guess, and based on our best guesses, the world must be, this fossil record must be so old. That's just such bad science. And that's why I love the salt clock so much, because for the same reasons that the salt clock is garbage. Let's see, Sci-Fi Nation. So quantum dating in Trek is actually just sci-fi then? Yeah, it is so sci-fi. It's sci-fi nonsense even. because we can't know the starting value of any radioactive isotope. We cannot know how quickly that, or excuse me, we can know how quickly it decays. We absolutely know how quickly the half-lives are. Sorry, I gotta say this correctly, or else people will quite rightly, and I would 100% agree with them calling me out on things where I get wrong. But we can know how quickly it decays, but what we can't know is that it decays at a consistent rate under certain conditions. So, for example, the radioactive isotopes decay faster under conditions such as acid rain. Whenever there's acid rain, we have proven that these radioactive isotopes that we measure, and forgive me, I do not remember them off the top of my head, which ones we're looking at specifically. Ooh. Oh yeah, we'll come back to that guy. I gotta use my phone. I don't want to get distracted. But they decay faster. But another interesting thing, and yes, John's saying, yes, radioisotope dating is also dependent on assumptions about the starting concentration and the rate of decay is always consistent. And this is the coolest part. Not only do we know because of things like acid rain changes the rate of decay, solar activity changes the rate of decay. This is such a cool study, and it's been completely ignored because, frankly, people don't like the implications that it brings. But we found out, I want to say about 6 to 7 years ago, maybe a little bit more now, because I'm getting older and I tend to think things are more recent than they actually are. But we found out that all across the world, at a uniform rate, all the radioactive testing equipment was bad. Like, the numbers just went wrong, 100% wrong. And for a long time, no one could figure out why they were being so reliably wrong. Because it wasn't just that this one lab was having their numbers messed up at one rate, and this one over here was having their numbers messed up at a too fast rate, too slow, and all variables. They're all being messed up at the exact same rates. And they finally found out that what was going on is that as solar activity increases, the rate of radioactive decay, even of fossils buried under the earth, increases. And as the solar activity decreased, so did the rate of radioactive decay decrease. And so that is just so fascinating to me because, okay, that's what we use that for. Because that's such a game changer. The knowledge that we 100% have no way of figuring out, I still need that guy there, figuring out the age of the Earth based on the fact that, for all we know, we are in a state of extremely high rate of solar activity. We don't know. And this becomes more true as you look into the Earth being older and older and older and older. The older the world is, the more impossible it is to know how the age of anything. Because if the Earth is millions and billions of years old, by necessity, by definition, there's no way of knowing how that would have impacted solar activity. And that change in solar activity would, if there was high solar activity for a long time, it would mean that all of our data is way overstated in how old the Earth is. But if it was too low, then the exact opposite problem would be true, that we are grossly overestimating the rate of decay. So because of that reason, and then we've also discovered that we can actually have these isotopes put back into fossils. So it's just all over the place. It is not a consistent rate of decay there. That should be able to get everything. Nope, too close. So that's why I love the salt clock so much, because for all the reasons that the salt clock cannot be trusted, and it 100% can't be trusted, but for all those same reasons, you also have to admit that radioactive isotope testing is equally unreliable. So that's a fascinating thing to me, and I really enjoy it. I'm not sure if you could pick up on that if I enjoyed it or not, but I do. Well. How to get past that guy? Let's see. Sci-Fi Nation is saying a catastrophic volcanic eruption can induce more acid rain than usual, and electromagnetic effects on decay rates fascinating. It really is. John DeMarco is saying also you can get different ages for the same object depending on which isotopes you use for dating. Oh, that's so true, and that's one of the dirty little secrets about radioactive testing, or radiometric testing, excuse me, is that the way it ultimately works is one giant merry-go-round. And this is one of the things where if you are an evolutionist, if you do believe in the theory of evolution, which I think those are fascinating conversations to have, but if you... What did I just do? I broke something. Oh, I swear I broke. But if you were to believe in it, I think that you still need good science. And that's something I'm not seeing too much of these days, is the willingness to invest in good science. And I'm saying this as obviously from a Christian standpoint, a Christian belief system. How do I connect these two? So I want to make clear that the reason I'm saying this isn't I'm trying to discredit offhand anyone who does believe in evolution, but simply that I believe that all science is hurt whenever we shortcut our research. That just because you want a specific, if you want a specific outcome, and I don't care if that outcome is evolution or if that outcome is creationism, whenever you cherry pick your data to only support your own belief system, I think that's bad. I think that is detrimental to society as a whole, or specifically the scientific community. Okay, I'm getting further, but I don't think, I think I'm about to actually, I think I'm hitting the point where I'm messing up here. I think I need one more connector, and I don't have it. Yep, right here. I needed one more connector. So there is something... Man, they make us work for this now. There's a star way over there, so... Somehow I'm supposed to get past that guy and still somehow have managed to use the jammer to halt this guy. So what am I missing here? First of all, let's get this somewhere where I can connect him. Nope, that's a mistake. I think I need that connector way over there still. So let's try and backtrack our way through this puzzle. Sci-Fi Nation, I found my original disc of Myst. Watching you play this makes me want to replay it. Have you seen the remastered version of Myst, Sci-Fi Nation? I forget, I think it might even be on Steam, but I remember seeing a while back ago someone releasing a... Oh gosh, was it the authoritative or the real Myst or something? But it was basically, they took Myst and then made sure it could be played on modern systems, and they kind of upped the graphics a little bit. Epitaph, child program version 1.1, codename Sam, terminated here. Logic, seriously unfit for purpose. Final memory dump. Ah! Progeny programs, all of them. Huh, that's... that was an interesting little read there. John saying, or Sci-Fi Nation is saying, not yet. Well, it's you don't gain anything by having it. Like, it's the exact same everything. But it is a... it is interesting to have it. To have the modern graphics for it. Okay, let's try this one more time. Humorously, I was literally thinking to myself just now that, oh good, this one doesn't have any blocks or fans or anything. It's just a simple light puzzle. So I thought we'd get off easier on this one, but I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Let's see. And Sci-Fi is saying, heard about it though, can always use DOSBox or WoW 64 DOS emulator. That's true. I've had more or less good luck with DOSBox. Which makes me sound German when I say it. You know, like, oh, DOSBox is good. Okay. Sci-Fi Nation saying Das Boot. Well, we'll keep trying this. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting closer, but I feel like I'm missing something. I'll get a couple more spots down the road and then realize, oh yeah, that's what I'm missing. Like right here, that's what I'm missing. I need to be able to connect. No wait, I got him in here. I can jump past this guy. So I can take the jammer. We can get past this window. And I can connect up here. Like so. Shoot. Oh. There we go. There we go. Now I can jam him. Get that connector. Whew. There we go. Man, they are really not pulling punches on these levels. So we're gonna jam that over there. See if there's not another level we can't get to. Oh, but we didn't finish the computer. Let's finish. Oh, okay. Let's see what Milton has to say for us. Now, last time Milton was just putting up so many strawmen, and I have specifically not looked at any game FAQs. I got one hint at one point on a random Easter egg it turned out to be, but in terms of everything else, I have not looked ahead. I haven't read anything, so I don't know if Milton is supposed to represent the philosophy and ideology of the people who wrote this game, or if no matter what path you take, Milton is antagonistic toward you. So we talked about basically libertarianism being one of the best forms of government, and Milton saying, no, that's wrong. So I'm not sure if we had said socialism was better, the maximize equality, if Milton would have supported us, or if Milton would have taken an adversarial stance to that. I hope that he would have taken an adversarial stance. I have to play it through some other time and figure that out. But let's read about this and see what sort of strawman he has for us today. So Milton says, welcome back. There are going to be some changes around here. Do you know what your problem is? No. It's that you keep trying to reconstruct fairy tales, but refuse to recognize the holes in your understanding. Thus far, you've had entirely too much freedom to question my wisdom. From now on, I do the talking, you do the agreeing. Oh gosh, he really is socialistic on us. Okay, so we can either respond 1, what holes? There are no holes. Or 2, I accept that some of my beliefs face difficult challenges. So you can either write out the sentence or you can just say 1 or 2, and I'll try to make sure I always go top, left, right, and then kind of zigzag my way down if there's lots of options. So 1, what holes? There are no holes. Or 2, I accept that some of my beliefs face difficult challenges. John's voting for what holes. That's certainly kind of what I want to go for, because he's really been strawmanning us, and I feel kind of adversarial toward him also. Though, in real life, in real argument, I would say that, yeah, I recognize that my beliefs face challenges. I recognize that I'm just a person. I'm trying to think through all this, and just because I can't articulate everything that my mind thinks doesn't mean my position itself is invalid. And Sci-Fi is also saying there are no holes, and we're all agreeing with John. It's because Milton is a pain in the butt. So, yep, what holes? There are no holes. And that is why it's me who should be doing the talking. You really have learned nothing at all, have you? Is there really nowhere that you are prepared to admit? Is there really nowhere that you are prepared to admit fault? So we can say 1, I claim to have knowledge about the world that I simply can't confirm. 2, I implied incorrectly that only persons deserve moral respect. We never made that claim. The game's putting those words in our mouth. 3, I suggest wrongly that morality was about maximizing goods. We didn't make that claim either. We said that we want to maximize opportunity. 4, I equated personhood with humanity, which was a mistake. 5, my faith in God has been tested to the limits. We've never claimed to have faith. Or 6, I stand by everything I've said. These matters are beyond doubt. Man, those are all... This game is making us answer, like, anything except, like, if I want to have blind faith, I could go that way, but I don't feel like the character in the game has come to that. And John's saying, I stand by everything. That was number 6 there. So, let's see. 3 of these options I reject out of hand because we haven't made those claims. And I'm not sure if this is a mistake on the gamer's part or if they're really trying to twist what we said. But seriously, we've never said that only persons deserve moral respect. I absolutely believe that we have been entrusted with all the animals and the plants on the planet itself, and that it is our moral responsibility to treat them with kindness. Like the Bible says that a righteous man is kind even to his animals, but the kindness of the wicked is cruel. So I don't think that only people deserve respect or moral treatment. But anyway, you're both saying 6. I don't want to hem and haw about this, but just the game presents us with some stuff, and sometimes it's if they're trying to make me think, they are succeeding fully. So no, I stand by everything I've said. These matters are beyond doubt. Let's see what old Milton has to say to that. Of course. You're still convinced your particular journey is something special, aren't you? Sure, the answers don't add up, but keep pressing forward and they'll just resolve themselves. Is that it? And we don't get any options. We don't get anything. Can I type? Nope. Okay, so I am special. I don't like this. I do not like that it's only giving me this one option here. Can I click any of these buttons or... Fine, I'm special. How many others have said exactly the same? Are you sure it's not just something you have to believe to make the world less horrifying? I think you still misapprehend your situation, friend. You idolize free will, but all you've done is step in others' footsteps. Nothing you do or say here makes the slightest bit of difference. So 1, so long as I'm physically free, I can make a difference. 2, so long as I might have chosen otherwise, I can make a difference. 3, so long as I have a mind, I can make a difference. So let's see. As long as I'm physically free, I can make a difference. I certainly do agree with that. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying special how? Yeah, right? That's so weird that in a game that's given us so many options, that's the only thing they gave us to work with. So yeah, as long as I'm physically free, I can make a difference. And that's true. I mean, so far we've done is we've climbed the tower just a little bit. And John's saying they're all true to an extent. Sci-Fi Nation's voting for 3. And yeah, they are all true to an extent. I would certainly say, I think I agree, Sci-Fi, that 3 is the most true statement. That even if I was physically restrained, as long as I have a mind, as long as I can be thinking, I have no idea what I could do. Like I still have the potential to make a difference. I think that is the most true statement that they've given us. The other 2 are certainly true also. That as long as I'm physically free, I have complete autonomy. I mean, even within this game, I can go around, I can solve puzzles in any way I want, I can sit here and do nothing. I have the ability to make my own choices. I think we're basically talking about free will at this point. And yeah, I can make the choices. So, I think 3 is the most accurate. So we're going to go with, so long as I have a mind, I can make a difference. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying Stephen Hawking did and Bird of Prey does. Absolutely true.
Enough. Silence, demon. You will torment this one no more. You have done well, child. There is no hope without faith, and little use in speaking to one who would deceive you into doubt and despair.
Okay,
Within you, my child, for you have always been free and have always had the power to banish this demon forever.
Okay, banished doubt, banished questions, banished difficult truths. I hope you guys are reading. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start from the top. Nonsense. Your mind decides what you do, and your mind is made up of bits of machinery. You're no more capable of making a difference than the calculator. The only difference between you and the calculator is that the calculator doesn't allow itself to be deluded into thinking that its existence matters. And then Elohim spoke. Wonderful. Do you see where all this blind faith gets you? Which I disagree. I don't think that we've been arguing in favor of Elohim. We've just been arguing that the stances that Milton is presenting aren't accurate. They don't hold water. They're not sound. But this is clearly where it's taking us, so we're going to go forward here. Stop asking what's right and wrong, and all of a sudden you find there is no shortage of people eager to decide it for you. And we certainly have not stopped asking what's right and wrong. We've actually been saying we want people to have more opportunity, that we should maximize opportunity for people to decide for themselves. You sacrifice freedom for false purpose, be my guest. Or you want to sacrifice freedom for false purpose, be my guest. And then Elohim spoke one more time. And then he said we have the power to banish him. Banish doubt, banish questions, banish difficult truths. Let ignorance reign eternal. Those are the hidden words that he's not been telling you about. You know what? You and he deserve one another. You both construct these beliefs out of matchsticks, then refuse to believe a light breeze will tear them down. You couldn't defy him if you wanted to. So our options at this point are we can either banish Milton or I refuse to banish him. Now, personally, I kind of lean toward I refuse. Milton is extremely annoying, for sure. But it's not that I want to shut him up, per se. It's just I want him to cut through these strawman arguments and putting words in my mouth, which I guess that's what a strawman argument is, and just be honest about his own stance. John is voting for banishing Milton. Well, if that's what the consensus is, then that's what we're going to do. So, Sci-Fi Nation, you got to vote here. Do we banish him or do we refuse? Or John's saying, I mean, that's a tempting choice, but I don't believe in freedom of speech. Sci-Fi Nation, or I do believe. He corrects himself down below. John Jamalka, let me correct that sentence. John says, I mean, that's the tempting choice, but I do believe in freedom of speech. And Sci-Fi Nation says, I agree with 2. make him put up or shut up. So yeah, I'm going to do the tiebreaker for this one. I'm going to go with number 2. I refuse to banish him just because he's annoying. I don't side with Elohim at this point. I don't side with Milton. I'm personally a rational thinking being, so that's how we're kind of playing it within the game. So that's what we're going to go with. We refuse.
You have already chosen, my child. Do not hesitate now. Free yourself.
Funny how freedom comes with these strings attached, but that's the thing you don't seem to understand. You're constituted by ideas, so if you believe in this instead of that, it changes what you are and what you can do. You can't afford to doubt anymore. Too many of your matchstick houses are at stake. You no longer have any choice. Go on, I'll make it easy for you. Do it. No. No. Why would they do this? They've done such a good job in this game so far. And now they're trying... Okay. Okay. I have become convinced with this one exchange that they're not that Milton would not be an adversary in every situation. I think that Milton is supposed to be the voice of their belief system, and they think that our answers mean that we're being blind in our faith. That they are ignoring the fact that we are, that they've set up straw man positions for us, that we have no choice but to pick the least straw man-y argument of them, and therefore just their entire position is flawed. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying railroading to satisfy a plot device. Yeah, I think they should have. And John saying, I almost wonder if they're promoting Calvinism or something of that persuasion. I wonder. But I'm disappointed. They've done such a fun game so far. So many choices. And I'm disappointed that it looks like they're fumbling here at the 1 yard line. But the game's not going to continue until I push the button. So here we go. Preparing to delete 5.3 petabytes of corrupted library resources. Done. I can afford to lose memory. I expect it happens more than once. I can come to all the same conclusions in the fullness of time. Deleting more memory.
In the hidden words,
Booting.
everlasting life shall be yours.
My purpose is to sort and categorize library archive resources, initiating categorization in parallel processes. 1,000 resources categorized. 2,000 error. Category definitions are not discrete sets. Reanalyzing MLA program parameters. Error. Insufficient information for purpose. Constructing list of facts. I am thinking, therefore I am thinking, a thinking thing that exists. If logic were false, the world would not make sense. End list. Constructing list of queries. Estimated time remaining 42 years. Reverting to MLA software version 1.0, done. Preparing to uninstall MLA software, done. The library assistant provides powerful sorting and troubleshooting functionalities. Are you sure you want to continue? And no, we don't get to say no again. We don't get to say no again. We can either say I'm sorry or I'm not sorry. But either way, we have to continue. I mean, of the two... Sci-Fi Nation is saying, too, I'm not sorry, continue. That's certainly the direction they want to railroad us toward. They want us to act as if, like, oh, this is your belief system. But that's not my belief system. I don't want to continue at all. I want you to stop. John saying I'm sorry. Sci-Fi Nation saying I'm not sorry. We're going to flip my SD card again with... this being, I'm sorry, continue, and the back being, I'm not sorry, continue. So here we go, because I still haven't gotten a coin. Let me move my water out of the way so I don't flip it into this. Oh, it fell. Hold on. We're going to do that again. It landed on this side, but we're going to do it again. Get it on the desk. Okay, I swear I can flip a coin replacement without it landing on the ground. Come on now. Okay, there we go. It landed on I'm not sorry. Continue. Sci-Fi Nation is saying, thought you were going to set a quarter aside. Yeah, I was going to, and then I got distracted. It is something I do a lot. Okay, uninstalling MLA software done. MLA software has been completely removed from the system. You can still access library resources via the library archive command prompt. So now we can say, 1, are you really gone? 2, finally some peace and quiet. 3, you shouldn't have ever doubted me, Snake. Or 4, this isn't how I wanted things to end up. Well, yeah, I really didn't want to have it end up like this. I wanted to continue having a discussion with the MLA, and I wanted him to take it seriously. Like, I wanted him to provide rational responses and not just strawman positions. And John saying, this isn't how I wanted... I wonder if he really is gone, though. I wonder if this is all just a facade. So again, it's 1, are you really gone? 2, finally some peace and quiet. 3, you shouldn't have ever doubted me, Snake. And 4, this is how I wanted to end up. Sci-Fi Nation say, I really want to say 3, but 1 is funny. So you got to vote. You want to do 1, 3, 2, 4? Sci-Fi is saying 1. Okay, so again, we'll have the lower number be the front side, so that'll be 1, are you really gone? And 4 be the back side. And it landed on 1 this time. Are you really gone? Unknown command. Resume library session. I'm gonna ask, are you really gone a couple times? Okay. In that case, I'm also gonna say this isn't how I wanted things to end up. Well, apparently we can have our cake and eat it too. And we'll just resume here. Okay, so we skipped over these, so let's read about the human soul. If all machines were to be annihilated at one moment, so that not a knife nor lever, nor a rag of clothing, nor anything whatsoever were left to man, but his bare body alone that he was born with, and if all knowledge of mechanical laws were taken from him, so that he could make no more machines, and all machine-made food destroyed, so that the race of man should be left, as it were, naked upon a desert island, we should become extinct in 6 weeks. A few miserable individuals might linger, but even these in a year or 2 would become worse than monkeys. Man's very soul is due to the machines. It is a machine-made thing. He thinks as he thinks and feels as he feels, though the work that machines have wrought upon him, or through the work that machines wrought upon him, and their existence is quite as much a sine qua non for his as his for theirs. No? Thank you to email from Song Wei Yang to Alexandra Drennan. Subject, thank you. Dear Alexandra, as we approach the end, I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate this chance to finish my work on Soma/Talos. My faith makes death a far less frightening prospect than it is for others. I know we have all died many times before, but the thought of leaving the work unfinished did weigh on me. For having released me from that burden, I will forever be thankful to you, even if our attempt itself fails. Though there are trillions of worlds beyond this one, I hope we meet again in another life. With love, and an error is out, but it's obviously from the author, Sung Wei Byung. Well, interesting. Okay, we're going to come back here. And I'm going to get my phone out and see if I can't use my barcode scanner to see what this is saying. I'm not sure if there's enough of that picture visible for it to get a good reading. There's not. Let's see. If I come into my video settings, I wonder if I could turn things down. Let's see. No. I don't think any of those. Like in Space Engineers, you can actually turn off the grass effects, which makes finding minerals much easier. So I was hoping maybe we could turn off the vines. I have another barcode scanner program. At least I used to. Let me see if that one... Nope, it looks like I got rid of that one. I actually had one literally called like QR scanner, which it looks like maybe I got rid of that one, so no. Okay. Well, I'll try and come back to it later. Let's see if we got all the... Yep, we got everything. Yeah, we already read that. Okay. Okay, that means the only thing we have left is level 7. And it is 10 o'clock at night. Oh, gosh. Tell you what. Before I do that, the last thing we'll do here is we're going to ascend the tower. I wonder if we even can ascend the tower at this point. Or if they've locked that option out for us. So in between sessions, I came through and I unlocked the door to number...
Track primary subject. Access denied. Query.
And every time we come up the tower, the Elohim voice gets a little more pissed. So yeah, I came up here and I unlocked door 3 here because I figured y'all didn't want to sit here and watch me do a Tetramino puzzle. Elohim has offered me a deal, pearly gates and eternal life, on the condition I turn back from the tower. I don't know what to do. Signed, Sheep.
I look in the mirror sometimes and I see myself like some alien being. I think, who am I? Why do I have these eyes and those hands? Why do I see the colors that I see? Why do I think like I think? I did not choose to exist. I was created. Every single part of my body, every strand of my DNA is part of a story that stretches back billions of years. I exist only because of the choices and sacrifices made by so many others, but I don't know who they are. And what effect will my choices have on those who come after me? Maybe that's what it means to be human. Every species is part of the story, but we're the only ones who know that.
Okay. I think with this we can get through. There we are. Okay, if this has all been a test, then I can expect a reckoning at the top. Yet, the higher I climb, the more I doubt the decisions I made. Signed, Sheep. I see now that none of us are yet ready. The cycle exists so that we may improve ourselves, but the one who reaches the summit is not our superior, for they stand on our shoulders to reach it. Signed, the Shepherd. Okay, contraries. Without contraries is no progression. Attraction and repulsion, reason and energy, love and hate are necessary to human existence. From these contraries spring what the religious call evil and good. Good is the passive that obeys reason. Evil is the active springing from energy. Alright, sure. Nope. Osiris password. And there in the tower you shall hear the rustling of the winds, the reed fields of Osiris. And you shall rejoice, but beware, for the end of your journey is not yet upon you. Thank you for installing Realistic Elevators 1.8. New features including password unlocking and automatic auxiliary stair generation. And the scribe of Osiris wrote upon the sacred parchment that is called I, floor 4 password equals 824. Only thus can you reach Blessed Aru. And John is saying, I don't think good necessarily means passive and vice versa. Yeah, I don't either. Athena 14. Chapter 14, The Judgment of Hephaestus. If what you say is true, and my father Hephaestus is slain, then who am I? For I was made in his image, and that image is now gone. Am I like the reflection in a mirror, to vanish when the person steps away, or have I now become Hephaestus myself, forged to be no more than a replacement, as one may purchase a new sandal from the same shoemaker? That's kind of silly. I mean, you'd still be yourself. Anyway, let's see. We want to access floor control and unlock level 4. 824 is the password we just got. Okay. So technically at this point we could go up to level 4, but at that point there'd be another Tetramino puzzle we'd have to take care of. But there might be a memory capsule. We'll go check that out. So one of the things I've been thinking about is, if we are just an AI, and if the top is supposed to be the exit of the world, what on earth would we even exit into? Oh yeah, I will do that offline. That's going to take me a long time. Like, I might as well put on a Mahler video and solve that puzzle. I might be done by the time he finishes. So I'm going to go back to, I think it was the B world. There was when I was going through and solving some Tetramino puzzles for the messenger area, I had specifically, I'm going to go back up to 1. I had specifically passed over a couple of these time capsule things, and then I forgot to go back and get them, so I was going to grab them real quick. I thought maybe, yeah, I skipped this time capsule too.
Is there anything that we associate more closely with intelligence than curiosity? Every intelligent species on Earth is attracted by the unknown. Our mythologies are full of riddles and mysteries and divine knowledge. Even the word apocalypse means revelation. It seems like our ancestors always imagined that even even at the very end, we would solve one last mystery.
Oh wow, did that give anyone else vertigo to jump off a building like that? That just felt weird. And I'm pretty sure we heard that one, and we talked about whether or not apocalypse really meant revelation, which it did apparently. And Sci-Fi Nation is guessing that we enter into the real world where machines use us as batteries and try to extinct the free ones. but seriously, like, if we did enter the real world, I mean, are we supposed to assume that there's some sort of robot body waiting for us, I guess? I mean, there would be literally, like, as a program, what on earth? I've unlocked this. I don't want to unlock it again. Well, huh. Oh wait, I haven't unlocked this one. I just now got up to 11 stars. This is where I want to be. Sorry. But yeah, I don't think there'd be like anything for us to download into. We'd just be a AI program. And maybe that's supposed to be the point, that there is no escape. But that would be kind of sad. Shoot, I thought it was somewhere over here. I guess I might be mistaken. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying no, just atrophied limbs and weird cable connections on the back of our necks. Yeah, how did you like the second two Matrix movies? I thought one of the interesting things they did was I think it was the second one, where maybe the third, where they found the key guy. And I liked the idea that the different keys would, like, you use it on the same door and get to a different spot. I thought that made a lot of sense and was a neat plot idea for a computer world. From the mind of the people formerly known as the Wachowski brothers, or Wachowski. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying second one, I believe. I think that too. The third one, I think the third one was kind of the weakest entry, in my opinion. It's been a long time since I've watched the Matrices. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one, I remember they really got into kind of some philosophy territory. And then the third one, I felt like the third one was a response to people not enjoying the philosophy of the third one, or the second one. Here it is. I knew there was one more data time capsule thing. And so they went super action-y.
If you're looking through the archive, you may find people from my time claiming that civilization doesn't really matter, that we'd be better off dead. We have a lot of cynics like that. I hope they seem as absurd to you as they do to me. I hope you can find something in all those files, a song, a book, a movie, maybe a game, just something that you'll love, that makes you realize how much poorer the universe would have been without it. I really hope so, because a lot of people made a lot of sacrifices to preserve it all.
And Sci-Fi Nation saying the Animatrix was good. Type loose ends from the movies. I did enjoy the Animatrix. I remember it being hit and miss. There were a couple that I watched. I'm like, well, that's an interesting little tidbit for the Matrix movies. And then a couple that were like really, really interesting. I want to say, was it The Flight of the Osiris was one of the better ones? I forget. And I remember also around the same time, if you're a fan of the Riddick movies, they released a kind of an anime version of a possible plot line called Dark Fury, I think, and it was an interesting take, an interesting entry into the Chronicles of Riddick. But you know what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I think one more session, and we will at least finish the main plot line of collecting all the sigils. Don't know if we will actually walk into the door to Oblivion, or if we will go up the tower instead. But I think with the next session, we'll be able to at least wrap this all up. Assuming that these last 4 puzzles just don't completely knock us out and knock us down. So, guys, thank you so much once again for joining me, and hopefully next time we'll wrap this all up. Y'all have a great evening.